U.S. retail sales grow 0.4% in December. Global unemployment remains steady in 2024 at a historic low of 5%. And the European Union announces a €120 million aid package for Palestinians in Gaza. Welcome to Qnews Economic Bulletin, where we present the latest developments shaping the global economy. From key market trends and financial updates to regional economic highlights and forecasts, we bring you essential news and analysis to keep you informed. Welcome back. We start off with the United States, as the Labor Department has reported that the number of Americans filing new unemployment claims rose more than expected last week, increasing by 14,000 to a seasonally adjusted 217,000 for the week ending January 11. Despite the uptick, levels remain indicative of a robust labor market. Economists have projected 210,000 claims, and the data aligns with recent signs of resilience in the labor market. December saw non-farm payrolls rise by 256,000 jobs, while the unemployment rate dipped to 4.1%. The Commerce Department has reported that U.S. retail sales showed solid growth in December, rising by 0.4% after an upwardly revised 0.8% increase in November. This report, combined with strong December job gains and a decrease in the unemployment rate to 4.1%, points to continued demand in the economy. Although inflation eased, overall consumer prices rose by the most in 9 months. Core retail sales, excluding volatile categories like automobiles and gasoline, surged by 0.7%, suggesting strong consumer spending. According to the Labor Department's Bureau of Labor Statistics, U.S. import prices rose just 0.1% in December, marking a third straight month of minimal increases. The rise, driven by higher fuel and food costs, was offset by weakness elsewhere. Over the past year, import prices rose 2.2%. Despite higher energy and food prices, inflationary pressures remain subdued. The Federal Reserve is expected to hold rates steady this month, with a rate cut anticipated in June. Core import prices, excluding food and fuel, rose 1.9% over the year. On another note, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has criticized President-elect Donald Trump's proposal to establish a new agency, the External Revenue Service, for tariff collection, calling it duplicative and unlikely to save taxpayer money. Speaking on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Yellen highlighted that the plan would overlap with existing duties performed by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, undermining Trump's efficiency goals. Trump also announced plans for sweeping tariffs, including a 10% tariff on global imports and up to 60% on Chinese goods. Yellen warned such measures could raise costs for U.S. consumers. Reuters has reported that Canada could retaliate with countermeasures targeting up to 150 billion Canadian dollars in U.S. imports if President-elect Donald Trump enforces a 25% tariff on Canadian goods and services. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and provincial premiers discussed potential responses, including targeting goods like Florida orange juice. Trudeau emphasized a forceful and robust reaction, though Alberta opposed limiting oil exports, which could spike U.S. gas prices. While Trump justifies the tariffs as addressing border security and fentanyl smuggling, such measures may breach trade agreements and severely impact Canada, which sends 75% of exports to the U.S. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has stated that Canada is considering all options in response to Donald Trump's proposed 25% tariffs on Canadian imports. Speaking after a meeting with provincial premiers, Trudeau emphasized the need for a united strategy to address the potential trade disruption, which could significantly impact Canada's economy.
We need to respond in measured but robust ways to the American actions, whatever they are. We can't know definitively what our response will be, or can't announce what our response will be until we know definitively what the Americans are going to decide to do. We continue to hope that they will realize that tariffs on goods coming into the United States from Canada is just an extra tax on consumers in the United States. It's going to raise prices for consumers in the United States. That's not something that we want. That's not something that I think American citizens and consumers want. So we are united in wanting to move forward to make sure that these tariffs don't actually happen.
The International Labour Organization said in a report that global unemployment remained steady last year at a historic low of 5%, where it is set to stay in 2025. However, it said that a global economic slowdown from 3.3% to around 3.2% last year and a gradual deceleration over the medium term will limit job creation. ILO chief macroeconomist said that the current global unemployment rate of 5% is the lowest in an ILO data series going back to 1991 and is projected to tick lower again in 2026 to 4.9%.
The stability.
The European Union has announced a 120 million euros aid package for Palestinians in Gaza. The assistance will provide food, medical supplies, sanitation, and shelter. Additionally, the European Union revealed its 2025 humanitarian budget of 1.87 billion euros. Key allocations include 375 million euros for the Middle East, 148 million euros for Ukraine and refugees in Moldova, and 95 million euros for North Africa and Yemen. The European Union has also set aside 295 million euros to address unforeseen crises worldwide.
As per next steps, the European Union is ready to support the implementation of the ceasefire, including through our considerable
OPEC held its global oil demand growth forecast for 2025 steady at 1.4 million barrels per day, with expectations for a similar rise in 2026. According to its monthly report, the organization noted that non-OECD countries will drive growth in 2026, contributing 1.3 million barrels per day of the increase. OPEC also reaffirmed its global economic growth forecast of 3.1% for 2025, while upgrading the 2026 projection to 3.2%, citing improved inflation trends and potential monetary policy adjustments in major economies. Oil prices fell back slightly on Thursday, a day after settling at multi-month highs after U.S. President Joe Biden's latest sanctions targeting Russia and a larger-than-forecast fall in U.S. crude stocks. Brent futures dipped 0.15% to $81.91 a barrel, after rising 2.6% in the previous session to their highest since July 26. Meanwhile, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was down 0.22% to hit $79.86 a barrel, after gaining 3.3% on Wednesday to their highest since July 19. In markets, global shares mostly rose on Thursday, following a rally on Wall Street driven by an encouraging update on U.S. inflation. Germany's DAX was up 0.18%, and the CAC 40 in Paris rose 1.95%. In London, the FTSE rose 0.85%. The futures for the S&P 500 were 0.08% higher, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average dipped 0.15%. Tokyo's Nikkei 225 index edged 0.33% higher. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong added 1.23%. The Shanghai Composite was up 0.28%. That's all for now. Here's a wrap-up of what we've covered. U.S. retail sales grow 0.4% in December. Global unemployment remains steady in 2024 at a historic low of 5%. And the European Union announces a 120 million euros aid package for Palestinians in Gaza. This concludes our economic bulletin for tonight. Don't forget to follow Qnews on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and TikTok at QNewsEG to stay informed. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates on Qnews.